pull up to the Twitch. This is where you can watch everything live and interact with chat. Link down below. Yo, YouTube, welcome back to another video. How y'all doing, bro? Listen, people who snapped and killed apex predators barehanded. Now listen, we haven't watched this guy in a little minute. He talking hat. Shout out to the talking hat, bro. He has some good videos. We haven't watched him in minutes, but this video did interest me, and we're gonna go ahead and watch it. It's like 15 minutes. Go ahead.
The Granny Incident. On a farm in rural Russia, 2012, a Russian grandma heard loud
A Russian grandma? Oh yeah,
home.
she's bodying
Confused,
stuff.
She quickly ran outside
She's bodying somebody.
There, she was met with the grisly scene of a Eurasian
Yeah,
wolf covered in blood while eating one of the grandma's baby cows. These wolves aren't like normal ones due to the Bergman's rule. This rule states that
oh my god,
regions evolve larger body sizes to stay warm. A male Eurasian wolf weighs anywhere from 150
in Russia though, chat. What do you think that grandma finna do to the Russian wolf?
Any normal person would probably just lock themselves in their house and call police officers or something. But the grandma was unfazed. Her people have survived Soviet winters, food shortages, and probably World War II. So for her, a wolf was just another Tuesday. While the wild animal was trying to tear the calf apart, the grandma began roaring at it in an attempt to scare it off. But unbeknownst to her, the wolf had rabies and was manic. So instead of running away, the beast lunged at the grandma, going straight for her throat. However, she immediately punched the animal in the snout, causing it to bite onto her left hand instead. She tried to open up the wolf's mouth so that she could shove her hand down its throat. What? That probably sounds like a random thing to do in this situation, but hunters and herders sometimes use this tactic because apparently larger animals have really bad gag reflexes.
Okay.
Fortunately for her, however,
So grandma was even calm. Yo, chat, I'm not gonna lie, this ain't no regular grandma. This is a Russian grandma. Russian grandma's probably out there lifting up like 250 for a warm-up. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how hard she punched the wolf though. Probably gave it a little jab. Give it a little jab. She getting murked though. Loki.
The wolf's jaws were locked tight, and she wouldn't be able to get them open because it began thrashing her hand around. So instead, she switched gears to her backup plan: punching. She kept on punching and punching and punching the wolf until it decided to go tear away at her legs. To be fair, she's 56 years old and fighting a wolf, so when the wolf began dragging her by the legs, that's when she realized she needed a weapon, and luckily for her, her trusty axe was nearby. While the wolf
what type of RNG is that?
The grandma raised her axe high above her shoulders and split the wolf's head in two. Then she did it again, then she did it one more time for good measure. She was taken to the hospital where remarkably her injuries weren't too severe. If you're a wolf and watching this video,
that's her.
Then my advice to you.
Oh my god, she look calm. No, she look calm. No, she look like she would bench. I'm not gonna lie, she look like she would like beat your ass though. She don't like no regular grandma. She look like she would really beat your ass though. Nah, great. Nah, she calm. She's calm. She's calm. She's calm. I don't know if that's actually her, but if that is, bro, she's calm.
Don't try to eat Russian grandmas. They're not prey. They're more like Elden Ring bosses. Also, to add to that, don't try to eat these next types of people either. The dad incident.
The dad incident.
In 2021, a father
y'all see that? Hold on. I'll put it in my camera.
Was riding back home on his motorcycle in a forest. As is common in certain regions of India and other countries, the father was riding with his wife on the back of his bike while she carried their. It was nearing night.
Oh no.
After the family finished their work for the day, they were headed back to their village to relax.
Don't tell me they dropped the baby.
Their fatigued eyes squinted hard through the rural road they were on together. They tiredly blinked at it again and again until they noticed the motorcycle got heavier. The man's wife looked down at the she was carrying, and in the blink of an eye, she realized that there was now a full-grown leopard biting down on her kid's leg. Yuck.
What?
160
a leopard?
Was latched onto the and trying to run off into the forest with it, all while on a motorcycle. The mother screamed and pulled back her from the grip of the leopard's teeth.
Dad instance to start boxing him.
Pounced and swiped at her in retaliation, prompting the man to increase the speed on his bike so that they could outpace the cat. But unfortunately, his motorcycle wasn't fast enough to escape the animal because it quickly bit onto the leg of his kid again. Out of pure instinct, while still riding the motorcycle, the father began elbowing the leopard to get it off their top.
Okay.
Swiped up at him, causing him to crash the vehicle. However, before the leopard could run away with the child, the father grabbed the animal by its throat.
Put in the headlock. Hold on.
Quickly let go of
the pop looking calm.
Into a wrestling match.
The pop looking calm.
Lethal predators with the ability to vertically jump 10 feet into the air and casually drop 200 pounds up into trees with them.
Oh my god.
Videos of leopards plummeting from 300 feet, shaking it off, and continuing to hunt their prey. And here, this 30-something-year-old man was wrestling one with his hands gripped tightly around its throat.
See, that's
The
that
leopard thrashed
Chad,
him
that's
down.
that dad instinct. You know, when you become a father and shit, you get that dad strength. You over here boxing leopards, putting leopards in chokeholds and shit. That's that dad strength. I wouldn't know nothing about that. I'm not a father, but like, you know what I'm saying? That's that dad strength. You know what I'm saying? You ever see a pops just do some shit like, yo, like that's that pop strength. You know what I'm saying? That's the older man strength. That's that grown man strength on some GMS.
Claws
Shout out to
tore into
Bleezy.
his arms, chest, and split his face. But still, he didn't let go because he knew if he did, it'd slaughter his family. So he did something
Is this in
absolutely
India?
insane. Mid-wrestle match, he positioned the leopard into a chokehold with both of his arms. These cats have necks that are thick with muscle designed to support their ability to carry heavy prey up trees. So, honestly,
You know about that.
trying to strangle this wildcat is pretty much like trying to choke out a tree trunk. Neighbors in nearby villages finally heard the commotion from the attack and quickly ran in the direction of the screaming family. But when they arrived, it seemed that they were already late to the party because what they witnessed had everybody in pure disbelief. They saw a man sitting on the floor, covered in blood, and in front of him laid a motionless leopard. Everybody was taken to the hospital for their injuries, and the only casualty of the event was the leopard.
Oh my god, no, he's him. Oh my god, no, he's him. He's him. He's him, bro. Yo, chat, you ever just like pass out? Yo, imagine that story. Imagine telling your kid that story, bro. Like, yo, yeah, when you were younger, me and your mom was just driving the bike trying to get back home. And I had to, on the way back, the leopard tried to take you away from us. So I had to put him in a headlock and choke him out until the ambulance picked us up. Bro, that's like, you would have thought your pops was like a superhero, bro. Like some shit, bro. That's crazy. Shout out to bro. The Florida man incident. Oh, shit.
Everything was normal.
Nothing's normal when you bring up a Florida man.
2001, Pensacola. A 30-year-old uncle laid back peacefully on his beach towel, tanning in the sun while everyone had fun around him. He sat up to look around and take in the moment. He saw volleyballs being thrown, sandcastles being built, and his 8-year-old nephew getting torn apart by a bull shark in the water.
What?
Then he laid back down and relaxed, because life was good. Yeah, no. Upon realizing what he just saw, the man immediately leapt up from his beach towel and began sprinting full speed towards the water. People began screaming, "Shark!" and started running away from the waters, but the uncle was still sprinting towards the bull shark that was actively swimming away with his nephew in its mouth. Bull sharks are one of the, if not, the most aggressive shark species on the planet. They weigh anywhere from 200 to 700 pounds. They often hunt in shallow waters and are believed to have the most testosterone of any animal on the entire planet. So what do you think this
Bro, chat, what do y'all think a Florida man's gonna do to a shark? Chat, what do you think a Florida man's gonna do with a shark? I think he's gonna just rip his head open. I'm not gonna lie. A Florida man's strength, when they see some shit happening, they might just rip something open. They might just like, chat, when a Florida man see anything crazy going on, when you hear a Florida man incident, it's not no normal incident, bro. They finna deal with some extravagant shit. Like some shit they just don't know how to, you know what I'm saying?
In the water. Well, he leapt on top of it. Yeah. After taking a good look at the 7-foot, 400-pound beast, he jumped on it inside of the water and began punching it in the face to rescue his nephew. Fortunately for both of them, the shark actually let go of the boy. However, it bit off his arm and started swimming off with it in its mouth.
No
now, what do you
way.
suppose the Florida man did at this point?
Went back and he grabbed the arm?
He jumped back into action and began wrestling the bull shark underwater for his son's arm.
Yo!
The shark and the man fell into a tug-of-war match where the shark tried swimming off into deeper waters and the uncle tried desperately to pull it back onto shore. The man tugged, twisted, and pulled. The shark was trying to get away, but he didn't let go. I don't know how, but the psychopath literally pulled the shark back onto the beach.
Nah, he's him. Oh my god, yo. That's him. That's him. That's very unfortunate for the nephew. But like, bro, for the uncle, bro, you're a superhero. You're getting invited to all the functions. Your nephew's bringing you everywhere, bro. What? Yo, the nephew, you're getting invited to your security. You're the bodyguard. You just bring in a 400-pound shark onto the surface like it was a carrying bag. What's his workout routine, bro?
Then pried its jaws open with his bare hands and ripped his nephew's severed arm out of its mouth. The arm was still intact. A local fisherman on a boat nearby noticed the commotion happening on the beach. He pulled out his rifle and took aim, and in one click, the shark's mad frenzy ended. Vance Flosenzia wrestled a bull shark and was able to give paramedics his nephew's arm to be reattached in surgery. I can't say I expected less from the Florida man, but honestly,
nah, he's him.
The reverse incident. In 2024, a 35-year-old railway worker in India was just trying to get some sleep after a long shift.
This
It was the
cannot be
middle of the
good, bro.
night, and he was passed out on his bed when he felt something crawling up his leg. He woke up and saw a snake, but not just any snake, an extraordinarily venomous one that was assumed to be a crate or a cobra, some of the deadliest reptiles on the planet. He stared at the snake. It stared back. He continued staring, and so did the snake.
Okay.
And
Ma!
then it bit him. Now, most people
fuck.
would have panicked, called for help, or maybe tried driving toward a nearby hospital. But this guy just had to be different. Something inside him snapped, and before the snake could slither away, he grabbed the animal with his bare hands, and, he bit it.
What?
Yeah. Multiple times.
What?
He chomped down twice on a reptile that is venomous enough to end the lives of 20 humans with a single bite. It tried wriggling out of his teeth, but he munched on it like it was a piece of jerky, effectively crushing it. Later on, the man was rushed to the hospital and given an antivenom so that he could recover from the bite. He later on told reporters that, in some parts of India, there's a superstition that biting a snake transfers the venom back to the animal, so that it'll pass away instead of you. So, who knows? Maybe the superstition actually worked.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie.
He just needed an
He's not
excuse
human.
for
We're
revenge.
living with lizards. That's a real life lizard. Please just
He was a 69-year-old Alaskan
What?
hunter, and on November 1st,
Nightmare
1999,
fuel.
he was out in the wilderness doing what he'd done for decades, hunting. He knew the woods. And
Please
more
just shoot me. Is that what?
he knew
That's that
how
what
to
it
handle
is?
himself. Him and 3 other hunters set out to catch a black-tailed deer, but due to the windy weather, it was extraordinarily hard to sneak up on one.
Say, oh, you want
So
to
they
bite?
split up into groups of 2. Later on, after hunting for what felt like hours, the man and his partner became frustrated because they still hadn't caught the deer. So he came up with a plan. He told his partner to split up with him and said, "If I let out a shot, you come to my noise. But if you let out a shot, then I'll come to your noise." His partner nodded in agreement.
This
But the
can't be
only
good,
issue
bro.
is that his partner was also wearing a heavy-duty hat with thick ear flaps that muffled the sound of pretty much everything outside. The man split up from his teammate, and within just a bit, he found the deer they were trying to hunt all day. He took aim,
He shot.
marking a successful hunt for him and his crew. He waited for his partner to come, but it didn't happen. He began hooting like an owl a few times to draw attention, but his partner still didn't show up. The man rolled his eyes in annoyance, took off his rifle, and put it beside a tree. He then decided to butcher the deer meat by himself.
Don't tell me
And after
someone
cutting
grabbed
away
his
at it for a
gun.
while, the man heard a twig snap behind him. Feeling relieved that his partners finally showed up, he turned around to greet his crew. A brown bear stands at about 10 feet tall, weighs about 1,000
Yo.
pounds, and
Oh
runs
my
as
God.
fast as a car on a
Yo,
street.
did he have to fucking
Unfortunately for this
box
man,
the bear?
it wasn't his crew members that showed up, but instead the bear. The hunter froze when he saw it. The distance between the two of them was about 30 feet away.
How far is
And
his
the
gun?
distance between him and his rifle was only 2 feet, but the bear let out
Fuck.
a roar, and it charged at him so fast that it was impossible for him to even think about trying to grab that weapon. He only had one option available, his buck knife. He dropped his deer
Okay,
meat,
buck knife,
quickly
okay.
grabbed the blade from his pocket, and right as he pulled it out, the man-beast was already right in front of him.
Fuck.
The hunter aimed to slash at the bear's open mouth, but he missed and accidentally sliced its face instead.
Oh,
Angering
fuck.
the bear, it crushed his
Bite
arm
his
with
arm.
its teeth, tearing off his skin and exposing his bone. The hunter screamed in pain, and the full-grown bear pushed him down to the ground, pinning him into a death grip. While it twisted away at the hunter's arm, he quickly used his free hand to try to poke the bear's eye out with his thumb. But it began thrashing him around, causing him to miss continuously.
Fuck.
The man switched gears and instead took his finger and jammed it deep into the bear's ear canal, rupturing its eardrum. The beast let go of him and recoiled in confusion and annoyance. It then let out another 100 to 120 decibel roar and charged at the hunter again.
Yo.
The man was still on his back, so he desperately kicked the bear square in the throat, making it stumble as he hopelessly scrambled back to his feet.
He gotta
He
go
was
to his
covered in
gun.
blood, with an arm that was completely mangled and a bear that was charging at him again to finish him off for good. The man's mind raced, and his thoughts became a blurry panic. He was actually getting eaten alive by a bear, and he was running out of options for survival. Acting quickly, he fell onto his butt and stretched out his leg to use it as bait for the bear to bite onto and be distracted
No.
with. This would prove to be a terrible decision, because instead of just biting the lower end of his leg, it actually chomped down on his thigh, giving it complete control over his entire body.
Chat.
The bear
Oh my god. He just bite his dick. Yo, chat, listen, bro, this can't be good. His upper thigh area, gang. Yo, you're cooked. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, his arm's really gone, bro. Bone and everything. Like, bone showing. No muscle tendon. Like, bro.
began to shake the man around like a rag doll, thrashing his body around and bashing his skull on the floor, nearby trees and rocks, causing serious damage. The hunter couldn't see a single thing. His ears gotten blocked from the extreme trauma he was suffering, and he was losing consciousness. Nonetheless, his adrenaline gave him enough energy to power through the bear's thrashing and to plow his buck knife countless times into the beast's thick, furry neck. The bear dropped the man and backed away as it bled from its neck with his knife stuck in it. The man stood up on one foot with his body exposed, showing both muscle and bone, but he fell into a delirium and began screaming at the bear. Reports mentioned that he began desperately shouting something to the lines of "God is on my side" or "The Lord is with me." The bear charged at him again, and with one good arm, he punched the bear square in the snout repeatedly, causing the disoriented animal to collapse on the ground.
It might be him.
The hunter collapsed on the ground with the bear.
He
then
fought the
quickly
bear,
scrambled to his feet to grab
and he
his rifle.
won.
Each time he stood up, he fell. But finally, he got to his weapon. At this point, his vision was blurry, his eyes were covered in blood, his hearing was muffled, and he was on the brink of passing out. He stood over the bear's body with his weapon, aimed it at the bear, and then tried to shoot it. However, nothing happened. He quickly looked at his rifle and realized the flesh hanging off of his body had jammed the gun. The bear began groaning and slowly getting up again. He tirelessly pulled the flesh out, then aimed the weapon at the bear again. He was victorious, but then he immediately collapsed to the ground. The man could barely stand.
They find him?
He dragged himself across the snowy forest until he reached the beach. Sticks and branches tore at his already mangled body as he crawled. Each time he was about to lose consciousness from the sheer amount of pain he was in, he'd quickly grab a chunk of ice-cold snow and shove it into his mouth to shock him back awake. When he made it to the snowy beach, he finally saw his team. Horrified with what they saw, they ran to the man's disfigured body to help him out. Drenched in blood, the only thing the man said before passing out is "please." This is the story of Gene Moe, an Alaskan huntsman. After receiving multiple skin grafts and about 1,000 stitches, he survived and made a full recovery from this nightmare.
So you wanted to get shot after all that?
Gene kept on hunting well into his 70s.
That's him?
He credited his survival to God.
Nah, he's him.
And he would go on to live until 2024, where he passed away peacefully at 93. The wilderness is extraordinarily dangerous.
Nah, he's him, bro.
The moral of today's story is, don't mess with Russian grandmas, don't mess with Florida men, and especially don't mess with any Alaskan Christian dudes that have a bear hanging up on their wall. Now, go and have a happy day.
What? Oh, little rabbit. Yo, that was a comp video, yo, chat. Yeah, we gotta watch more of his videos, bro. That was comp. I'm not gonna lie. The guy that saved the nephew and went back and grabbed the shark from swimming away with the arm, his nephew's arm, comp. W video.